and it has everything to do with politics. Yes, indeed. All that's in the news today is the reaction trailing Diri's defection, or would I say resignation, because he has not yet declared where he's going. We just know where he came out of. Well, Wike is mocking APC defectors, calling them a couple of names. You and I would determine whether or not he is right. And finally, the Rivers police claim they've arrested suspected car snatcher in the viral video. At 4 o'clock, we'll be talking about the opposition. Do the mass defections weaken the opposition? Or better yet, it's igniting a weak opposition. At this time, does the Nigerian political landscape have a viable opposition? Well, I guess will join me, of course, and it's all around the speculations around the one-party system. At 5 o'clock, we'll be looking at university education with all that's happening with ASU. What is the ultimate worst-case scenario? And what are private universities doing differently that ASU should inculcate, should emulate? Maybe, just maybe, they'll be able to run universities better. I guess, of course, will join me for that as well. 6 brings a major news. After that, it's open season. As always, stay with me. In Government House, Yenagua, Governor Diri did not give details of his next political move, but said the decision was for an obvious reason. Similarly, former Bayelsa East Senator Ben Mure Bruce has officially defected to the APC. In a post on X, he said the decision was not about politics but progress and praised President Tinubu as a visionary leader. And naturally, with headlines like this, the reactions follow almost immediately. And true to that fashion, Daniel Alabra, the Chief Press Secretary to Governor Diri, said the governor's resignation is strategic and in the best interest of Bayelsa State. I mean, if you think about it, who better to know the interests of the people than their governor?
Look, his move is very strategic. People will not understand it now. It was in his own political interest and in the interest of Bayelsa. And at the end of the day, people will come to understand why he decided to leave. We see all of these things happening. People are here today, they are there tomorrow because Nigerian politics is not ideological.
Well, let's be honest. He also clarified that Governor Diri is currently not affiliated with any party, adding that an announcement regarding his next political step will be made.
He's not a member of the APC at the moment. The proper thing to do is what the governor did. You leave the platform and you can later announce the platform you are going to. So when it gets to the time that he will tell us the next platform that he will want to part of, he will tell us.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, Daniel was a guest on Morning Crossfire on 92.3 Nigerian for. He had conversations with my colleague Andrew this morning. So that's the position, obviously, from that end. Well, somebody who shares a different sentiment is Senator Siriake Dixon. He has reaffirmed his loyalty to the People's Democratic Party, PDP, despite the defection of Bayelsa State Governor Diri. Speaking at a news conference in Abuja, Dixon says democracy without opposition is dictatorship. Dixon accused Diri and other defectors of abandoning the problems they created. The Bayelsa senator further stated that even if the party cannot be saved, there must always be an alternative to the party. Let's hear from the senator.
The governor consulted me several times, and I was not compelling reason for a second term got defect. No reason. If we don't succeed in retrieving the PDP, in saving, then our collective again should not be, because I believe
that these problems were created by these governors and their governors. We know the issues in the PDP, but the issues are there to be solved. Now, we have to admit, and I'm talking from a problem-solving perspective, not political. It kind of applies. I think that your position is based on the kind of problem that you jam. And I say that as Nigerian, thus the use of the word jam. Let's say, for example, you're in a sinking ship. And I mean this literally, right? A ship sinks because water is finding its way into the ship. Usually, the ship is supposed to be on water. But when the relationship becomes in water, then there's a problem. Unless you can block the leakages, you will die with that ship. And maybe you can try. But eventually, at some point, there's a point where you have to tell yourself, I need to get off this ship now or I will sink with it. I have no idea if the PDP is there or if they will ever get there. But if Siriake Dixon says, Senator Siriake Dixon, says the problems are there for you to solve, is there consideration for a problem that might be bigger than you, like a sinking ship, that you have not found a way to block where the water is coming in from? Is it possible that the PDP is gradually sinking? Yes. The answer to that is yes. Is it possible that the blockages could be blocked? It depends. It's up to those in the PDP now to tell. But if you insist that I must solve this problem, that means you have faith in my capacity. What if I'm not that strong? What if? There are lots of what ifs. But his position is every democracy requires an opposition. The day opposition ceases to exist, then it becomes dictatorship. I'll play what he said again as we move on to other issues.
The governor consulted me several times to his credit. And I was not convinced because I didn't see any compelling reason for a second term governor to defect. No reason. And we know the issues in the PDP, but issues are there to be solved by the governors and the leaders. Have they not been the leaders of the... And if we don't succeed in retrieving the PDP, in saving the PDP, then we'll be part of a collective decision, which again should not be the ruling party, because there must be opposition. A democracy without opposition ceases to be democracy. It becomes dictatorship from that day. It becomes totalitarianism from that day.
We'll talk some more after the break.
Not having a bus
Welcome back. It's still Hard Facts, 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Chinedu here. We're taking reactions trailing the resignation of the Bayelsa State Governor from the People's Democratic Party. And his chief press secretary has said a few things connected to believing that the governor has made the right decision, but most importantly, it is in the best interest of the state. And Senator Seriake Dixon affirmed his loyalty to the PDP and says he does not understand why a second-term governor would need to defect. The problems exist for the governors and the leaders to solve. And so, every democracy requires an opposition. The day that ceases to exist, it becomes a dictatorship. I believe that these are interesting times. And when history would report this era, they would very likely target one day, one defection. Yesterday was Peter Mba of Enugu State. Today is Diri of Bayelsa. I need to understand, speaking from a media perspective, that an average defection makes headlines for about 3 days. There's the defection itself, conversations following it, then the reactions, and of course the analysis, which would maybe run for a week. So it clogs up the headlines, which is not a problem. I mean, it's a political conversation. It's a governor of a state defecting or resigning that is supposed to make news. But I'm certain, as much as I are frustrated at the nature of the headlines we have to discuss every single time. Not like it's any less relevant. But we know that we crave stories connected to development and governance. Not this one left his party for that, the other one resigned. And in the grand scheme of things, as we like to say, you cannot reduce it in ones and zeros, in binary terms, to how it affects people directly. On a political note, maybe it enriches the political discourse. It makes for analysis, references, a bit of history here and there. But it does not reduce the price of petrol. It does not reduce the price of a bag of rice, because we have a few things in Nigeria that we use to know that things are moving. The price of petrol, maybe what a few things cost in the market. When people can afford that, then we now say, oh yes, the country is moving forward. But we will have these conversations because they happened. And that's exactly what news is. And still in line with these defections, the FCT Minister, Wike, is criticizing those defecting to the APC, saying they were the same people who attacked him for backing President Bola Tinubu. Wike, a PDP member serving in the APC-led government, played a key role in delivering Rivers votes for Tinubu in 2023. Speaking at the road project flag-off in Abuja, he says the same governors who once accused him of destabilizing the PDP and now in the ruling party. He insists that defection proves his support for Tinubu was the right move.
I'm very happy. But very soon to Nigerians. I've been watching on daily televisions and social media people who said, I want to destabilize the party. I'm working for APC. All of them now are in APC. So, which means if it is true, they should commend me for working for where they are heading to. So I should be commended for doing a good job for them.
All right, you've heard the FCT Minister. He claims to have been vindicated. But do the defections vindicate Nyesom Wike? Is there any justification for his membership of the PDP and loyalty to the APC? But most importantly, and I'm hoping I get an answer to this question, do the defectors owe the FCT Minister an apology? Because if they once claimed that he was engaged in anti-party activities, supporting one party while being a member of the other, and now, like he says, they have moved to that party, do they owe him an apology? Well, hopefully you give answers to that question. My final headline before I open the phone lines. The Nigeria Police Force River State Police Command has arrested a suspected car snatcher identified as Iruo Young, following a viral video showing the theft of a Toyota Avalon at gunpoint in Choba, Obiakpo local government area. The spokesperson of the command, Grace Iringekoko, disclosed this in a statement issued in Port Harcourt. Iringekoko said the arrest was made after operatives launched a manhunt for the suspects captured in the video, intercepting and robbing a car owner. She said the incident occurred at about 1500 hours, involved the snatching of a Toyota Avalon car at gunpoint. Through intelligence-led policing and technical support, operatives of the command have successfully apprehended one of the suspects, identified as Iruo Young M, age 42 years, at his hideout in Ikoku, Port Harcourt. During investigation, the suspect voluntarily confessed to the crime, providing detailed information about his involvement in the robbery. So this is a good one for the police. And I want to believe it's the video that I saw yesterday. Someone sent it to me. And after seeing it, of course, you know how these things work. You start seeing it everywhere. Someone came out of a... I think that should be the same case because it was a Toyota. I can't tell if it was an Avalon or a Camry. Came out of what seemed like, business place. Had a friend come out with him. There was some unnecessary delay that nobody could understand. Talked to a lady. One thing led to another, but you could tell they were about to drive off, but they never really drove off. Another car came, and, well, the car was snatched. Now, it is important to note that your security is first your personal responsibility before the police. The job of the police, based on the mandate, to protect and serve. But before the police gets to doing that job, it is your own job to protect yourself first. That means that you have to deploy security measures, policies, and technologies designed to keep you safe. Now, even though it was not clearly stated, we know that thanks to CCTV footage, the police had something to work with. At this point, I don't think anybody should be advertising the need for surveillance to you. CCTV is not what any salesman should come and tell you, if you put it. There are lots of cases, lots of examples that anybody can cite that was a difference between the problem and the solution. If you're looking for international examples, because we like to look outside, the very famous case of George Floyd, more than 50% or even 60 to 70% of that case was solved simply because there was video evidence of a police officer kneeling on the neck of a man that led to his death. Everybody saw it. So everybody knew where to start in trying to solve that case. And so I'm certain, thanks to that footage, the police knew who they were looking for, because the suspects were not masked. Maybe, from our angle, we didn't see it. Maybe on further assessment of that video, they might have seen the number plate of the vehicle. So while it is important that the police does their job, it is important that you take the first step and consider your personal responsibility of security. So deploy the technologies that would help. You have a place of business, install CCTV cameras. You have a vehicle, get a truck. So that police decides to swing to action, their job is ABC doesn't even cut it anymore. So well done to the police, but more importantly, well done to those who helped make their job easy. Like I said in the report, it was not stated. The police, of course, use the normal line, intelligence-driven, due to the capability of our men, able-bodied, gallant officers, swinging to action, being proactive, crossing the T's and dotting the I's, smoking out criminals. All of that is good. I'm not making a mockery. But yes, technology had to be involved. I'm sure that video played a part. So well done, police, and well done, owner of CCTV camera. All right, it's time for you to be a part of the conversation. 0817-923-0002. 0817-923-0003. WhatsApp is 080-903-06-416. We're live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube at Nigeria InfoPH. You can watch, listen, and engage